Boom, 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 boom. Well, on a good way, he joke wants to want to see us, Yardy. Because he does Rio, you're just going nudging, and that's just going to start or not that running. Retinu wada do Gurunga Gario Gesum, Yeti Sota Asatanka Garakwa, Yetin Estasi Hunzagi, Dona Guiguska, Neganungwe. Retinu wada do so weird and it Kundun Hetzedat Gawis, a Guades and he. Woo! Well, no, Ganyatta de Gerdo, Dona Aquego or Quadri, and Nunca Summa. Retinu wada do Yeti Sota Gunhan, there on the headstone, a gonna go here that he hawakwe. Damda we are on Hetzera, Gazat Stasseran, Ganungwe. Damda we are on Hetzera, Gazat Stasseran, Asat ni got Darage, Ganyaga Hager, that in Yato, no, not Roni, Don Riskarewage. Dono Damda we adon Hetzera, Asat ni got Darage, Ganyaga Hager, that in Yato, no, not Roni, Don Riskarewage. Am I repeating myself? Dano damdawe adon gatsira aguego na goro ga yana dasira go na skana ori huio kari wa gori shunsira dona gazat stansira damdawe adon hetsira gazat stansira ne adon gatsira aguego na goro ga yana dasira go na skana ori huio kari wa gori shunsira dano gazat stansira damdawe Adon Hetzera, Dano Adon Gatsera, Guigu, ne Yorakwa, Whiskey Hunzage, Gonna Shumwe Unwe. Yeah, as you know, every time that we get together for a council meeting, ceremony, anything of importance, we always have to carry out Ohondagari Wadekwa first. This is the words that come before all else. It's where we identify and give thanks to the things within creation that have created us and the things we need to continue to sustain us. So we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation that when you look up into the nighttime sky, you're not looking at cold, dark, empty, lifeless space the way that non-native science would lead you to believe. No, instead, you're looking into the living, vibrant body of our great mother. And so we give thanks to her, to Sky Woman, as it is she who has given us spirit. From there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to Grandma Moon, as she who regulates the flow of the lifeblood in all things. And so we give thanks to her, to Grandma Moon, as it is she who has given us water, our blood. And so, to emphasize or to make the connection here, we are always saying gives us our blood. And everybody may think, blood, how does the moon give us blood? Well, obviously, when we're talking on the planetary scale, we're talking about the waters. And as everybody knows, there's enough evidence before us at hand that the waters have been changed completely on Mother Earth. And this is not something that has been done over millions of years, like a slow evolution or a devolution. No, this has been a very rapid shift from having healthy waters to having disgusting waters, to having waters that are poisoned completely, that are affected on every level that you can think of on Mother Earth, every level where that you can think of waters, whether it's snow-capped mountains or a stream or a creek running in your backyard, or the oceans, or rain, or hail falling out of the sky or anything else you can think of as waters, even just condensation, fog, small fog on early in the morning or early in the evening, then all of these things and all the waters and all the shapes and forms they come in have been compromised, have been destroyed. It's still there, and you could say, well, it's not destroyed. Well, when you're used to having waters that are crystal clear, that you could drink out of a river, and then all of a sudden you can't because the waters are black and dirty and filthy and filled with toxins and filled with chemicals and plastics, then that means that what you could once just drink right out of with your hands, right out of a creek, now you can't do that anywhere on earth any longer. Science today identifies that the waters, that plastics are everywhere upon our Mother Earth. Microplastics have been found on top of Mount Everest, the highest peak that humans can travel on our Mother Earth. And plastics have been found at the lowest in the what the heck is the name of that trench? Marianas Trench in the mid-Atlantic. That is it in the mid-Atlantic? Wherever it is, it's in one of those oceans. So that the plastics have been found on the bottom of the deepest point on Earth, and plastics are found in the rainwater. It's found in the snow. It's found everywhere in your. It's in your processed water that you drink in every city, in every town, wherever you are drinking so-called city water. It has microplastics within it. And that means you have microplastics within you. So when we say the blood of Mother Earth, it's truly, you can say, well, no, that's water, but then it's a direct, whatever goes into the waters directly goes into our bloodstream. So it is the blood and it is the waters that gives us the water, the liquid that we need to survive. And so it is truly our bloodstream. And our bloodstream, if it is here on Earth, then I'll guarantee you they are going to find microplastics on Grandma Moon. It's a guarantee. There's going to be plastics. There's already plastics on Grandma Moon. You might even be able to find a whole chunk of plastic, maybe even a whole plastic bag or a little piece of a plastic bag. But I'll guarantee you that there's plastics everywhere on Earth, in all the waters and everywhere that you can go on every part of the Earth. Then there is plastics on the moon, on Grandma Moon already. This is just to emphasize as to the how far we've gone or how far we've devolved, and as far as humans understanding the environment which we have grown from, which we need to subsist, which we need to keep us alive. So we need the environment to stay healthy. So what's going to happen, or what happens when the environment that we have grown from, that we need to survive on a daily basis, what happens when it is completely poisoned? What happens to us? Well, we become completely poisoned also. Are we there already? We're already there. Our systems are full of all kinds of, like here in Ganawagi, full of neurotoxins, full of lead, full of all kind of other heavy metals and stuff that accumulates at the bottom of a watershed, which is where we are. We're at the bottom of a watershed. Ganawagi is at the bottom of a big, you could say a big ditch. It's a big cloe. And so if you pour anything off the top of a ditch into the ditch, into the ravine, of course, it's not going to stay at the top. It's not going to stay at the middle. It's going to flow down to the bottom where it's going to gather, where everything sediment and everything is going to accumulate. And so Ganawagi has the accumulated sediments and neurotoxins and just pollution from everything north of us and everything south of us. because everything south of us, you think, for some reason, some people would think that, well, that's south, like it's kind of below us. No, it's not. It's above us. Elevation wise, the south, the Adirondacks, all of that, it's above our elevation. So that means that from the top of the Adirondacks, wherever that may be, if you poured some water right on the very top, it would flow in all directions. But here, where we are getting the melt off, and right now especially the spring thaw from the Adirondacks. It's coming right here to where we are. You might think, oh, that's hundreds of miles away. Well, yeah, but still, it's whatever's melting at the top of the Adirondacks is making its way here to Ganawagi. And whatever is melted there, and it flows through this industry, that industry, this hospital waste from this city, like Plattsburgh or Vermont, any town, it's picking up all of that, whether it's oil from a car that's spilled on the ground, or if it is a hospital that dumps its human wastes right into the sewage system that goes untreated, and that's picked up by the waters that flow through the ground, that flow over the waters, that trickle down through gravity and end up where we are. And so Ganawagi is full of, we are being bombarded by toxins, by pollutants, by everything that you could imagine. And it would be utterly stupid of us in Ganawagi to take more poisons, to put more poisons into us, to say, well, the white man on the island of Montreal has got a lot of poisons there, and they're shifting it around through their construction mafia, like to try to bury it either in Blainville or now, due to JFK Quarry operations, to try to dump it right here in Ganawagi. Now, I don't know if it's called JFK Quarry operations, but it's the JFK Quarry site that they are filling in, that they've made an agreement that the owners, supposed owners of what? What do they own? Well, go and look there. What's there? Nothing. There's a big hole. So that means they own nothing. So if they own nothing, they cannot make a contract to fill up what they do not own, because everything, even in the white man's world, of a foot, I think it's a foot or 6 inches beneath the surface of where you are, if you own your house, that 6 feet beneath the 6 inches or a foot beneath the surface, it does not belong to you. You cannot claim it. So how then does JFK Quarry claim to be filling in the hole that they sold? They don't own anything there anymore. They sold the land that they owned. They owned the surface. They said they claimed that they owned that, and they sold it to the white man. So they own nothing there. But yet now they are, through the corruptions of white man behaviors of so-called economics, now they're granting themselves the right to poison it completely. And here in Ganawagi, you may be aware that there was just in this tragic comedy, there's been a development where the I guess the owners of the JFK Quarry have taken some kind of legal action upon the band system for some reason. I don't know. I didn't look into it enough. I'm not trying to understand it. I really don't care, because it's just a bunch of crazy people involved with crazy people who are all taking advantage of the white man's corrupted ways here in Ganawagi, adopting the white man's ways and saying that, well, this is the way that they can conduct themselves. So this means they have isolated themselves from being anything resembling Mohawks, resembling Ganawagi Rono, definitely not resembling anything that's Kanien'kehá:ka, or of anything of descendants of the Five Nations. These are completely new animals that are existing solely because of the white man. Not because of anything Ganawagi, not because of anything native, Mohawk, Kanien'kehá:ka. No, they are existing because of the white man. So as the white man is here illegally, then the people who exist because of them are also here illegally. And this means JFK Corey. Their practices are illegal within Ganawagi. Now, I'm not talking about like extracting rocks, gravel to make cement for people here in Ganawagi, if that's what they're going to do, if they want to make a cement foundation for their house or just pile a bunch of cement on their property. That's up to you. Now, if it was just for that practice of for here solely in Ganawagi, yeah, that's okay. That's kind of like a necessary evil in this day and age. But it's the practices that come after that extraction. So extraction, that's a white man's way anyways. Extractionism. But then filling back inism of the hole that they have extracted from, that's a completely different thing. Now, it's not a filling back in ism with the same type of stuff that they took out of there, like they're putting big rocks back in there and putting the rocks back together into one big giant piece so that there's a big rock there once again. No, that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're filling it in with garbage. Now, when we say garbage, understand anything that comes from the white man is garbage. So first and foremost, it's their concept that has filled their mind, which means their mind is filled with garbage. They have garbage mind. So from garbage mind allows them to with the garbage mind thinking that you can dig a hole in the earth that was once a healthy spot, a healthy place on the earth, dig a hole in the earth, extract what's there naturally, and then put in poisons, garbage there. So this is the garbage mind. This is the garbage mentality that this JFK Corey, that the owners, that the whoever it is, their lawyers, white lawyers, are carrying into Ganawagi and trying to inflict upon the faces yet beneath the earth of Ganawagi. So think of that. That place where JFK Corey is. Can we get a map? We're going to take a few minutes out of the map of Ganawagi to show where JFK Corey is, just to think of what is the common reference and the common knowledge that has been there throughout the continuum of the people of the Longhouse, of the Ganyangahaga, of the so-called Mohawks, of Ganawagi, where we have always looked at and identified 7 generations into the future. At the very least, this is what some people say, which is a stupid claim anyways. It's not true. 7 generations, the way that people say it, it's not true. But even if people said that, then you would think, oh, think 7 generations into the future. Well, how far into the future are the people behind the JFK Corey thinking? Are they thinking 7 generations into the future? No, they're actually thinking into only the here and now, and not the here and now of today, the here and now of yesterday, where they decided through their garbage mind to put the white man's garbage here into Ganawagi. So if they thought about that, let's say 6 months ago or a year ago, that's where their thinking is. So they're actually thinking backwards now. At the time when they made that decision, they were only thinking in that here and now for themselves. Impossible to think of 7 generations into the future or for the forever of faces yet beneath the earth. They are thinking now from that time, whenever it was, if it was 6 months ago or 2 years ago, they are now thinking in reverse because they're thinking back to that. So as time moves on and they get further and further from that time of where they made that white man's decision, that garbage mind decision, to take white man's garbage and place it here in Ganawagi. And of course, they're going to say it's soil, and they're probably boiling right now. Their blood's probably boiling, saying Stewart knows that's not garbage. It's not garbage in the sense of like if you go and dig in your garbage can right now and look what's in there, maybe a Campbell's soup can, maybe some plastics, maybe who knows what else, maybe some food, a lot of plastics in everybody's garbage. So not that kind of garbage.
But garbage, as far as being refuse from what is being moved from construction sites and old landfill sites, which every place is. There's white man, there's landfill sites, no matter where they live, all around them. So you leave it there for 50 years, 75 years, 100, 150 years, all of a sudden, oh, people forgot about it, and it's just land. So we can dig that up and take it, and then we can dump it. It's considered in the non-native world, it's considered as A and B soils, which doesn't sound too bad. But when you know what A and B soils are, it's garbage. It's basically garbage. You go into your backyard and dig up a foot of soil. That's not A and B soil. That's the cleanest grade soil you can get. So they grade the soils in ways that are designed to trick you, because you hear A and B. It sounds like, well, you would think A would be the highest quality soil. No, that's for refuse. That's called A and B. But it's not the same type of categorizations as, like, say, the soil in your front yard or your backyard. So anyways, this is what is fresh in the minds of the people of Ganawagi. And the reality is, okay, here's the, I didn't even realize we're looking at the map. Okay, so just think of, that's the site right there, that blemish, that brown spot in the middle of all that green. So the green would be the natural stuff, like I said, what's in your front yard or your backyard. But that kind of stuff now there, that's A and B soil. That's what you might consider to be A and B soils. So look at that. That used to be all green. And of course, it's not the people's fault who are currently the owners of that JFK quarry site. It's not their fault, because there was somebody else who owned that site before that. Victor Bova owned that before. How the hell did Victor Bova end up owning land in Ganawagi and able to dig a hole up and sell our land to the white man? How the hell did he do that? How the hell is there another quarry right here, right across the street from me, as everybody knows? The old Bedard quarry. It's not even natives that own them. But certain people like Bova, let's see, that's Hambone, sold it to white people. It wasn't even for like Ganawagi to prosper. Who opened up the Rivermont quarry? Who gave the right for these things? When you think of the Bedard quarry right here in front of us, this is, I guess you could say, it's like one of the oldest quarry in Ganawagi. It's been working since the 50s, since when they brought the seaway through. Maybe even a little bit before, maybe in the early 50s. I'm not entirely sure when the old Bedard quarry started, but when you think of it, when did they start this? It's not that the quarry was started there. There was different holes that were drilled. Right here, anybody may remember, if you're familiar, right in my front yard here, in between my front yard and my brother's place, there was a big hole there. And there's still one big hole in the back behind, connecting my brother's place and my place. There's a big hole there in the ground still. But there was a big hole in the front. They weren't connected. There was a big hole there in the front, a big hole in the back. There was a big hole in between where my nephew's factory is right now and the radio station. Where the radio station is was a big hole. As a matter of fact, you go from the radio station to the PK station, that was the old dump site. That was a big hole that was dug out. So all of this was dug out. There was test holes that were dug You go down on Blind Ladies Hill to uh, uh, where Louis Delarone and Sydney and them, where they grew up, their house, their father's house there, that was in one of these test holes. There was a digging there. And I believe Wally Montour, where he lives, that's part of the test site there also, where the hole was dug. And there was one a little bit further down Blind Ladies Hill. These holes were dug a long time ago. A long time ago. I think probably in the 30s or 40s. So who was testing? Who was behind these holes? Who was doing it? You know who was doing it was the Indian agent. Who was the Indian agent? Well, maybe not back in the 30s and 40s, but in between there, that was Brisebois. And Brisebois was signing off on everything, just as every Indian agent has. So it's not even the people of Ganawagi that ever decided to do this. It was the Indian agent that, through them talking specifically to individuals who they knew would bite on. So you go fishing. And what's on that hook? Money. Who are they going to go do this to? The lowlifes, the ones who don't have money, who they know are going to be so willing to bend over backwards to sell out to take the white man's money. That's who took out, who the Indian agent worked with to drill these little holes all around to place them, to test, I mean, for the Bedard Quarry until it was built precisely where it is now, right across the street from it. So you think of all these holes in the ground. You look at, just imagine Ganawagi just being at one time, it was all green. Now you look at the blemish of the brown, of the light brown. You think of when we say the faces yet beneath the earth. Okay, so you can see faces yet beneath the earth still able to grow through a lot of places in Ganawagi. Not much, because Ganawagi is becoming industrialized. They're becoming municipalized through the band system. So the band system is selling out completely, as everybody knows anyways. They're behind the ventures such as JFK Quarry and other crazy factory productions that are coming into Ganawagi, like plastic production sites and that. So anyways, Ganawagi is being sold out by the band system, leaving the land poison. So when you think of that little spot there, you look at this little brown spot. Is there any faces yet beneath the earth that are waiting to grow out of there? If they are, you know it's coming out of there. Monsters. They're going to grow monsters out of there. And it's the monsters of the people who are going to be, have been working there, who are invested in there. They're producing the monsters. They're not coming directly out of this hole, but let's see. Imagine if your father and mother were selling the land when you're a little kid for profit, like to make money as a business, then you're going to grow up thinking that, hence the monster. So JFK, the owners, the workers there, their minds are all poisoned. And they're raising the monsters. So the monsters are growing out of that site because what that site represents. It represents now the selling out your people for profit, the poisoning of your people for profit, knowing that your people are going to get sick, are going to get ill, are going to have diseases, they're going to have all kind of birth defects and all kind of other communicable diseases and illnesses stemming from that site. So this is the current ugliness of Ganawagi, and I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really sure what happened. I don't really care to investigate if somebody came and told us, but okay. But I don't care to go investigate, find out what's going on between the band system and their puppets, you know, their minions, because they're the ones, the band system made the deal in the first place to establish things like JFK Corey. And so now, whatever the deal is that JFK Corey feels that they've got the right to now sue the band system or something, I don't know what it is, taking some kind of action against the band system, then this makes the atmosphere here in Ganawagi so much more volatile, because now what it tells you, what it tells everybody, is Ganawagi is completely municipalized. Because think of this, something so important to all Ganawagi is going to be decided by a white man's court. And the band system is what created this circumstance. The owners of JFK Corey are the ones who complied with it, who basically sold out their identity to comply with band system identity, which is white man's identity, to inflict white man's systemically racist colonial genocide here within Ganawagi. And the owners of JFK Corey and all the ass-kissing sellouts in the band system are all compliant with it. They've all signed on to the process because they all get rich off of it. They all get rich off of that poisoning of our people process. This is the garbage mind. The monsters. They've already turned into monsters. So it's the equivalent of, like, you know, that these ridiculous zombie movies. They've been bitten by zombies now. And there's no way that they're going to change. Their children can't change because their children seeing their parents making millions of dollars off of poisoning the land. So you know that their children are going to be of the same mentality. Well, so we are now in an irreversible process in Ganawagi. You just can't see it yet. I mean, from the time that the Indian agent arranged to get rich himself, because that's how these dump sites were placed here in Ganawagi over the last 80 years. It's through the Indian agent having his contacts through government, who have their contacts through other city councils like Montreal, who have their contacts with the construction mafia, who need places to dump their toxic garbage. So they were connected to here in Ganawagi through the Indian agent. The Indian agent got rich off of it. Breezewalk got rich off of it. And even married into Ganawagi, and now he's here. His line is here. And they're part of what's making the decision to continue to do this even more. And these are people that are now here in Ganawagi pretending to be native, pretending to be able to discuss or address what's happening here in Ganawagi as a result of them just existing. That's all it is now. You just got to have a zombie existing in your area. What it is, you know, to make it more realistic, it's the equivalent of having wild boars. Now, here in the north right now, maybe you won't grasp when we say the equivalent of having wild boars in your territory. You won't grasp that. But if you know people in Texas, or let's see, I think they've even moved up as far as I can't think of what state, but I think they're in Ohio. Wild boars first from wherever they were shipped in by the white man. You know, they don't come from here. They devastate the land. They kill all the natural animals. They kill bears because of their tusks, and they'll even kill and eat humans. So if you're used to just, like, say, letting your children play out front in your yard, if you had wild boars, you won't do that, because the wild boars will come and kill your kids and eat your children live, eat them whole, to the point of where they'll just disappear. You won't even know. And like, if you didn't know that wild boars ate your children, you'd never know about them because they'd eat everything, bones, everything. Your children would just disappear. So this is what's happening here in Ganawagi, but it's happening on a psychological level because it poisons the minds of the sellouts first, who were just a bunch of low-life, greedy lowlifes that when the Indian agent said, hey, you can make some money by receiving this stuff on your property. Oh, okay. And look at that garbage dump behind Jimmy Fine Days, Jacobs, where they got their driving range, all garbage. They made lots of money off of that there. You know, but garbage there for who knows how long. When I was a kid, I related this many times, used to play there, and there was fire coming out of the ground year round in a lot of places, not just one place. There was a lot of fire coming up out of the ground year round. When I was a kid, this was in the 60s that it was like that. And there was a lot of it that was covered over and was already grass and stuff growing over it. So that site has probably been there since the 40s, if not before that. And as we know that in Gazita Howe and Perry's work, the land defenders of uncovering all this stuff, woohoos, that they identified that there's a lot of these sites all over Ganawagi, that there's been like a cartel of people in Ganawagi, all organized through the Indian agent, which means the band system, to sell out their people and to get rich. But back then, I mean, the people were just stupid. They weren't actually getting rich off of it. You know, if the white man had to dump it somewhere else, they would pay dollars. Here, they were paying pennies, and the people were stupid enough to take it. So anyways, now we're at the stage of where there's toxins placed all around Ganawagi, and then there's the you can say kind of natural overflow of toxins, which isn't really natural, where upstream that they've got these unnatural things there, what they're doing, and that flows into us. So you got these unnatural things that were dug here and poisons buried into the earth all over Ganawagi. Even when you think of down down the hill here behind me, by the Elders Lodge, the Turtle Bay Elders Lodge there. And I forget, what the heck did they call that area now? Where that park is, where they got the tribute to the iron workers there. All of that, that's all poison. And even all of the new developments where the band system built homes there, that's all poison there. That's all landfill. That's landfill. I remember that, them still filling it in the 60s. Where do you think that stuff was coming from? And there, it was big chunks of cement that was being dumped there. So it was whatever was being dug up from Montreal. You know, when you think of whether it was a building with a cement foundation, or if it was a factory with cement, if it was, no matter what it was being dug up from Montreal and the surrounding areas and being brought here. And that's the band system that was selling out the people and getting money, taking that in the 60s. So who is that? Let's see. That's Andrew DeLille. That's Ronnie Kirby. And Ronnie Kirby, that's just where his family lives, where they were putting all that all those neurotoxins and everything there. Of course, he lived up here on the hill a little bit, so he didn't have to worry. It was down the hill, but that's all poison there also, as it is all over the place, all over Ganawagi. So, yeah, we're dealing with a corruption here that is unfixable for Ganawagi. And I say unfixable because Ganawagi has their head so far up the white man's rear end that they're gonna, this issue, there's no way that Ganawagi is gonna get control of this issue. It is all gonna be decided in the Quebec courts. And so Ganawagi, just you get steamrolled over by the province of Quebec. And this is gonna get whitewashed. Somebody's gonna make some kind of out of court settlement. And the people of Ganawagi are the ones that are ultimately gonna get screwed over, get sold out like we are already sold out by the owners of JFK Quarry with the filling up of the hole that they don't own, along with the ban system, selling them the permits to do so and getting a part of that profit, and them benefiting, the ban system benefiting directly from the poisoning of Ganawagi, to the point of where, again, when you think of faces yet beneath the earth, they'll have no place in Ganawagi from where to grow. I'll say the only place that they're gonna have from where to grow is safe place is right here up the hill. This is the only safe place now, because it's the only place now that we're not subjected to the ban system. We're not connected to their water, their infrastructure, their electricity. We're not connected to any of it. Their laws do not apply here. Their laws don't even apply anywhere, as you see, as JFK Quarry taking them to court. They think they got laws, but it doesn't apply here. It's only as long as you allow yourself to be subjected to them. So I will say that now, clearly, that when we look into the future at the terrain of Ganawagi and we say the face is yet beneath the earth, where they're going to be able to grow healthy from, it's just here up the hill now. Everything else is poison. And because of being up the hill here, it's unique. And as far as that, when you think that what's coming from upstream, like uphill, like we said, Adirondacks or north of the river coming down, while the north, it hits the river, it's kind of a block to us. But from the south, it comes in. But what we have here is the bedrock. So the bedrock is like what collects the sediment. So the bedrock stops the sediment. So for us, where from between us and the Adirondacks, the sediment that grew, you know what that is? Hashadageek. That's Mercier. That's St. Isidore. That's the sediment. And it was stopped and it built up there over hundreds of thousands of years and stopped here because of the bedrock. Now, if you're pouring water on top of rock, is it going to seep right through? Maybe if there's cracks and stuff like that, you know, and if there's smaller gravel and stuff like that, maybe. But when you got solid bedrock and you pour something on top of it, it's just going to pool on the top side of it. It won't be able to get right through. And so here, especially up the hill here, we have the protection of the bedrock. We are right on the exposed turtle's back here. And actually, I'll show you where we are. Here, I'm gonna in the longhouse up the hill here on the turtle's back. I think you all know. This is where we are. We're in the safest place on earth, right here. So Ganawagi is traditionally, historically, the safest place on earth. As let's say, as tides rise, as water rises, as droughts from the south and crazy weather and all of that, Ganawagi is the safest place on earth. Weather patterns will become crazy. Yeah, it'll be all around us. It will be subjected to it, but it won't be a direct hit upon us as it will be on everyone else. Okay, so anyways, yeah, let's go. Is that Curry that's got his hand up? Let's go right to Curry. Everything that I just said here, Curry, I don't know if you could fill in details, if you actually know about what the what this, I don't know, lawsuit or whatever this action is that JFK took upon the ban system.
I don't know, anyways, anything, that you know about it, but also just to say and to identify Canyagahaga Land Defender shirts. Just came in yesterday. Of course, I want the wampum belt. You got that, and on the sweatshirt, hey, where the hell is my sweatshirt?
And don't forget that Radharani is there, huh? too.
Who?
Radharani.
Oh, is she?
Wow,
You should have told me. How do I know? Don't forget.
Wow.
And so here's the sweatshirt. Okay, Curry, gonna pause that right now, and we gotta go to a friend of ours that is here, Radharani. You should have told me she was here. Okay, so Curry, we're gonna come back to you. We're gonna go to our friend right away because I don't know where she is right now, but she's somewhere in Europe and it's late. So Radharani, if you're there, let's welcome her. Let's bring her in.
Hello. Can you hear me, see me?
Hey, yeah, we see you. It's gonna go. Good to see you again. It's been a long time.
Good to see you again. You know, I was watching through the window and it's this rainy evening and this Iggy Pop song came to my mind. Jesus, it's been 20 years, Candy. It's almost that long that I saw you last. Hey, listen, I've been thinking, it sounds like you're saying something very local, of course, from my side. But actually, exactly the same thing is happening here and it's happening everywhere. I don't know what's going on with the world. But these like monstrums, cannibalistic monstrums, and yeah, zombies are just like rising up from everywhere. I'm on the other side of the ocean, but here people went completely mad as well. Like just eating each other. Basically, they are going to destroy everything. Nobody is capable of thinking of what comes next. Everyone seems poisoned and poisonous at the same time. I'm watching all sorts of documentaries, seeing the same thing happening just all over the planet. So, first of all, I'm really sorry that all these things are happening there with you, but I see it also as a wider frequency. I don't know how to say. I am basically quite desperate because there are no people around me here that I could even talk to about this. Here, people find it, yeah, it's normal. So, it's not exactly normal.
Well, you know what
And
what you're saying right now. It is a sentiment of what I'm seeing of life givers all around the earth. Life givers all around the earth are feeling completely helpless. They're feeling like they're locked into, like they're caged into something that they cannot get out of, and there's no way to correct it. It's like as if the life givers have to accept that we have been born into a suicidal existence, that we have to destroy ourselves, that we have to destroy everything. We gotta wage war on everything. That there is no alternative. There's no option for life givers. So when we're looking at, say, like this localized issue of pollution, of course, it's not really localized because it's everywhere. It's everywhere all at once. So when it's everywhere all at once, then this means it's an attack on everything. It is war on everything. And so we'll have people who seem like upstanding citizens, who seem like they're the cutting edge of technology or something, or they're big, well-respected business people, which they are not. They're just a bunch of sellouts to all humanity who are not very innovative,
They're just there looking at the system, what the system has created, and looking at how to get rich off of it. So this is not an innovative society. This is not a society that is in control of its own destiny. So everybody around the world now, through the advancement of colonization, is all subjected to the same behavior, the same corruptions. So when you think of it as being localized, well, it kind of seems like it's a small issue, that people just get tired of fighting and they'll give up and they'll think that, well, there's no way to defeat it. And they'll think it's localized. No, it is, again, everywhere all at once. So it's a worldwide issue. We are being assaulted worldwide. So when we think of this business end of it, then what it actually is it's war. Everyone is subjected to war. It's not economics, it's war. And so the life givers, later on, I don't know if you're going to be able to stay with us all through the evening, but later on, we're going to actually show a video from one of the life givers here, Ganyaga Haga woman in Ganasadagi, who had just made a video yesterday or the day before about the complete hopelessness of their situation. So, for the life givers where you are at, first, can you tell us where you're at, and then tell us like what the circumstances are for the life givers, what avenues of addressal that you have? Is there any, does it look like there's any hope of improvement, or is it just look like things are just terrible?
So, okay, for the rest of people, I come from Slovenia. It's a small country between Austria, Italy, Croatia, and Hungary. We are a nation of barely 2 million people. And maybe I just very shortly explain our context. We used to be a part of Yugoslavia, and Yugoslavia had this socialist culture, which was not like Iron Curtain socialism, but it was basically just a good, normal social country. People were friendly with each other. Everyone knew how to live, next door to each other. We were raised like this. We were calling each other brothers and sisters among 7 nations within this one country. And then this country fell apart, and our people did not fall into capitalism. We fell directly into hyper-capitalism and directly into this sociopathic culture. So we didn't even have time to adopt, And so because we are so small, and then we joined this European Union, so another imperium, it's frenzy. People think, like, every little lay person thinks that they are the Napoleon, the Flavius, the Columbus, over their own neighbors. Because we somehow understand that we are not a big imperial nation, and we will never be. But we started to take this sort of mentality from people around us that we now joined. And and I also blame a lot social media, because it just quickly proliferates every sort of hatred thinking, sadistic thinking. And so, okay, you're speaking about life givers, but what I'm noticing here is even worse. Women who were, of course, now being suppressed, women are becoming the most sadistic. And I'm basically afraid of women more, so women around me here, more than men sometimes. I'm noticing female neighbors who just want to cut all the trees. They want to destroy all the plants, and they want to just colonize everything. And they are so persistent with this, yes, stronger female energy, but used for basically murdering each other.
Well, that would be
So just yeah, so that you understand the situation here is just,
so
you know, I'm
that would be what the non-native world looks at as capitalists, that they're good, like they're business people. Like the women are now viewed by the men as being savvy business people. Like that's a step in their evolution. Like they're going in the right direction by becoming these business people that want to cut down all the trees. But of course, it's not a step in their evolution. It's a step backwards. They are devolving. So this is the same type of thing that we see here. Myself this week, I addressed what's happened here in Ganawagi. While all the men, historically, maybe you don't know this, but historically the men in Ganawagi were what you call iron workers. We traveled the country, even the world, going around building stuff for the non-native people, building the cities, building the factories, and when we were away to make money and bring it home to support the families, then we'd come back on the weekends and partake in the ceremonies and but the politics took a back seat. And so as we were away, as the men were away, working to bring home money to support the families, you know what the women were doing? The women were home here working as bureaucrats within the genocidal compliant ban system. So the women are designed to change, not in their design, but through the white man's male dominant corrupted systems. It's designed to have the women change from being life givers to turn them into being just like men, who are life takers, who are warmongers, who are savvy business people, who know how to make deals to cut down all the trees, to dig up all the land, and who are actually now merchants of death. Women are now merchants of death, are now selling weapons of mass destruction, which means women are supporting war. So as we know, any kind of advancement against the land is a war against the land. So we have to be able to separate in our own minds that what the system tells us is a good person. Look at, here's this good person. She's a business person. She's become a billionaire. She provides jobs for hundreds of people. Oh, she's a good person. No, she's not a good person. She's just as evil as the men, or you can't call them men, piss poor examples of guys who are the merchants of death right now. And so the more that we get women, or the more that we allow the life givers to be consumed, sucked into that, then that means that really it's like when we think of the big scales of change on Mother Earth, it's like as if the scales are tipping completely to the negative. That we think life givers should rise and take their place, their position of authority. Well, the internal makeup of the life givers have changed. So when you see them rising and saying, people will think, yeah, that's a life giver rising in authority. No, that's a life giver being compromised, changing into a piss poor example of a guy and what the guys are doing. So we're seeing the same thing here in Ganawagi, what you are talking about, what's happening there in your part of the world. So it's not something that's isolated to a certain part of the world or because of a certain thing. It is a design through colonization to encase the entire world, like cement the entire world into this death cult, because it's a worldwide death cult, because everybody's a part of waging war. So when you said about what was it you identified, that you were a country of like 7 different nations all there, and then something happened. When you say what happened, is that about the tearing down of the Berlin Wall in 1984? Is that like what affected you there? Or is this later on in the early 90s through the genocide in Bosnia Herzegovina and that?
You know, this story is complex, but like basically you probably know what the word socialism means to the country that considers itself the greatest country in the world. I will not name it. Right? It's just thought as the enemy number one.
Yeah,
You just need one word and it means the enemy number one, right?
yeah,
These people knew nothing about differences in socialism. As I said before, like other socialist countries of that time, they were actually behind the Iron Curtain. People were locked inside. They had a lot of poverty. That's true. We were not locked. We could go anywhere. And the country was like this. Yes, we were somehow all poor, but we all had basic stuff. Do you understand? Like everyone had an apartment. There were absolutely no homeless people in the country, literally no homeless people. We had public health care, everyone could reach it, and it was a good health care. Few people had private lands just for the house. All the rest was public land. Why I'm saying this is because it's not about private or not private. It's about access to knowledge. As a child, I could go anywhere into the woods, anywhere on the meadow, anywhere, and I learned. And that's why I could start understanding the world, because the land was public and accessible to people. And it was the same for foreigners. Foreigners could come and go anywhere. Now we can no longer go anywhere because it's all private. And if nothing else, you need to pay 10 euros for parking place for 2 hours. Differences like this. And then Berlin Wall. So it all started, it was from behind, silently, never spoken out, instigated by one and the same forces. They came and they somehow from behind fired a conflict between nations within our country. And then it looked like as if we had a conflict. And then it all fell apart and we went into war. And of course, once you have a conflict and a war, it gets bad and the country falls apart. But actually, when I was staying in Ottawa with some Serbian people who now live in Canada because they flee from the war, and I really wanted to know from them because they are much older than me. And I wanted to ask them because, Slovenia actually never went into war. It was more between Serbia, Croatia, and Bosnia. And we somehow, typically Slovenianly, just, escaped. And I asked him, tell me, what do you think about all this, what happened there? And he said to me, from how we were at that time, we would have solved our conflicts in our own way if foreign forces were not interfering. And I couldn't agree more. So this was the story. This was our story, more or less. Of course, other people would tell you different stories, but I think this is basically more or less it. In Berlin, yes, people were trying to escape from Eastern Germany much more because they were locked inside. And people were actually happy when the wall fell down. But I met a German journalist here in Ljubljana 2 years ago, and we started to talk about this. And I told her that I would so much like to go back to that country, to Yugoslavia. And she was like, "Oh, that's funny. I hear a lot of people from Eastern Germany that they are saying the same now." So I don't know what to tell you, some things become clear to people only years after, maybe.
mm, yeah,
And
yeah,
I was just recently writing, it's funny that you asked me this because I was just recently writing a poem and what I wrote down, it was like, you know, when people were jumping over the Berlin Wall, they were often shot. And then the wall fell down, and you know, it was in Slovene, so I'm now describing the poem. But then they built a new wall, and this one is an invisible one. And when you try to jump over this new one, you become invisible yourself. So that's the new reality here. If it says anything.
Well, it's a really interesting way of how you put it. When we think of like, if we're looking at something just from the here and now, it won't really make sense what you're saying. But when we think of like the expanse of time, like from the time of Hitler up until now, then yeah, that makes a lot of sense what you're identifying, how the person becomes invisible. It's the ultimate goal to make the people invisible, where they're basically like what we said of how women are feeling, of being helpless, a sense of hopelessness, that you want to become invisible and just disappear from the place. I would imagine there's so many people, well, I know that there are so many people from your neck of the woods that have come here to Turtle Island, that have escaped the craziness that's there. We got to think, why would anybody want to leave their home? Why would you want to leave your home and go somewhere else under the pretense of that? It like you think it's got to be better over there. What does that say about where the people actually are? But yet everybody in every country are migrating to other countries. What the hell is going on? You know what it tells you is that worldwide in every country, humans are now out of the picture of as far as being in control again of our own destiny, of our own governments, of our own will. Humans are no longer in control. There is something that is a big ugly beast that is locking everyone into again a state of helplessness, hopelessness, because every state of war. And nobody wants that, but everybody wants it. How could we be in this catch-22? It's an oxymoron. Imagine if you could actually be an oxymoron. The people are now oxymorons. How could you be this and at the same time not be that? So what it is if you're this and not that, you think of something that's coming apart. It's being pulled apart. It's being diffused. Humanity is being diffused. And the ultimate recipient of this behavior is you, the women all over, the life givers all over the world. You are the target. Now, the problem here is that maybe in your neighborhood, maybe there's a group of women there who can gather themselves and talk about the little things that are affecting them, maybe with parking meters or something. But they can't gather together in groups like large enough or to have effect to change things. Hence comes the state of helplessness, of hopelessness, where there is nothing that anybody can do. So what it tells us is that women around the world must break out of the confines, the restraints that are created for you. And those confines are the countries. You live in this country, or you live in this state or this province, and you're limited to that. You must be out free of beyond these things and make connection with other life givers. The life givers must come together to talk about what's inflicting them in China, in Slovenia, in Ganawage, in the one country, like you said, that we shouldn't mention because it might conjure up the devil, because it is the devil country. So life givers must come together and start talking about what is your legacy. It's your legacy of the perpetuation of life.
male dominance is stopping your legacy. So this is something that must be addressed at the fundamental levels by every life giver on earth. And just you probably heard me say this in the past, but I've been saying this for at least 20 years, even longer than this now, I'd say, maybe at least about 30 years. What I say is that the life givers must stop their interaction with males. You must stop together collectively. The women must lock their arms together and say to the men, you are no longer welcome in our house until you rid yourself of these corruptions of male dominance, of war mentality, and you come around to the way of thinking of peace. So this has to be a worldwide action. When we think of in that country that we're not going to mention because we might conjure up the devil, when you think of what happened there in the 60s, early 70s, oh, they were burning their bras. The women were burning their bras and thinking it was a revolution. Oh my goodness. Like as if that was a revolution. They were actually just setting their daughters up for sexual exploitation. That's all it was. It wasn't anything about life givers' freedom. When you look at what has happened since then, all the women that were standing there on the line burning their bras, what did it do? It hypersexualized their children. That's what that ushered in. And so the women need to have an association between themselves, not based on what they're going to resist or what they got to fight against. There must be an association between the women of the earth based on what they are. They are the life givers. They are what perpetuates life. Your very essence of what you are is being threatened to being stopped to the point of where the reanimation process on the entire planet is going to be compromised, where it won't be able to happen. Because as I'm sure you know, there's probably some creeks or rivers somewhere around you that are now dead, that they can't reanimate, that there's no living animals within them, no fishes, no little whatever, you know. So it's this reanimation process that is everything else in the world is the distraction. And we don't realize that it's the collective reanimation process of our planetary species that is under attack, that is directly being assaulted by the conduct of the male dominance in this world, the white, British, non-native European male dominant warmonger. They have expanded their corruption all around the world. Now, this comes from your home, your neck of the woods, your part of the world. So the life givers not only here got a responsibility to fight and resist against that, but the life givers where you are have a greater responsibility to rise up and to stand against that. And so, as we know, that in 2 weeks, or even, what is it, a week now, week and a half, there's the beginnings of life givers from your side of the earth and our side of the earth able to come together. Hopefully, if things work out for you over there, you will be involved in that process where representatives from here, Turtle Island, North and South, are traveling, as you know, to the Cannes Film Festival. And again, people might say, well, what are you doing at the Cannes Film Festival? I mean, that's stupid. It's art. It's not life. Well, non-native world, life imitates art. So we got to get to the art world, the thinkers in the art world first, who can affect their perception of peace into the artistry that they do, such as what's Cannes movies. What's in the movies right now? Everybody knows it's zombies. You know, it's zombies, it's war. There's nothing good in movies. You know, even to say, like, as far as a good comedy, when's the last time you seen a good comedy movie? You know, there's none. You know, so we got to start looking at affecting the creative people, the artists, to turn the Titanic around through their artistry, to avoid hitting the iceberg that's going to sink the entire planet.
So next week or whenever it is, a week and a half from now, whenever it is, Edith is gonna be attending in the Cannes Film Festival along with a couple of other peoples from the associations of the Eagle and the Condor, the Reconstitution, and they're gonna be affecting there to bring a message from the people of Turtle Island. Now, I know that there's been a little conversation between yourself and Edith to try to affect how you can get there. Edith, maybe this is where you come in and to address where are we right now in that effort? Is there any advancement? Radharani, are you able to get to this place? Edith, what do you know right now? So let's see address this because of it representing the first trickles of connecting life givers from here in Turtle Island to connecting the life givers there on that side of the world. So where does that stand right now, Radharani? Any
So-
advancement? in as
Yeah,
far
I
as-
was checking planes and it's actually crazy, you know, it's not like flying to Canada, but I cannot even find a direct flight. But still, it's possible to find an affordable flight. But I was not able to find any possible hostel or room that would be still free on those dates, apart from rooms for 1,000 euros, which I cannot afford, you know. So now we are just waiting whether there is any option for me to stay anywhere else, but I could not book any room. And then I was checking whether I can go with my car and sleep in my car, but you know, my car is so old that I'm not exactly sure. And also, like, where can you sleep in a car in Cannes? You should know that this is like elite city. I don't know if there is any place. It's also like I was checking streets, it's very narrow, and so now we are on a standby as far as I know, right, Edith?
Escanagoa, Sobaguego. My name is Edith, daughter of Soco, granddaughter of Panchita, great-granddaughter of Celsa from the Zapotec Nation, born in Mexica territory and here under the protection of the Wolf Clan of the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy. Yeah, as I said last time, you know, Natalie has like a lot of demands. It's not clear. She has to go and see the place. So that's where it stands with that. We also have Stone. I don't know if you met Stone when you came here. But anyways, he's a friend that has been going to France many times, and he actually has people that he knows in Nice. So potentially there could be somehow some way to try and, you know, have somebody that could lodge you. So that's where it's at.
When will we know anything on that?
That's I don't know.
She is away right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, Stone, what it seemed to be that Marianique necessarily wouldn't be the best case because anyway, she's away and she will be back just when I'm there. But maybe through other people, he said, but I mean, it's not clear.
Okay, so right now there's nothing solid on that. So if it's once Edith's there and this other Marianique, this other woman, life giver, returns, she's a woman that we met here at the World Social Forum in 2017, was it?
Marianique? No, Stone met her like way before.
She's not the one that we met at the Social Forum?
No, it's Stone's friend from the time that he used to study in France, like way before he even met you.
Okay, so it's not anybody that we know. It's just who Stone knows. So if this is the most viable option, then that option is we're only gonna know something about it when Edith's actually there. So is it still a possibility, say like for you at the last minute, if it's determined that yes, you could stay there, is it still a possibility or is it something we should just look at
As soon
maybe?
as possible, because plane tickets, just the prices go just up, you know, and then it gets less and less possible. Like last minute, it could change 250 or 300 euros, which for me is unfortunately a lot. So as soon as possible, that would be good, But last minute might be difficult.
Okay, well, on our end, there's really nothing we can do about this. It's not a person that I know, so I can't contact them and say, hey, we need to know something. So we're all kind of at the mercy of just things, the way things happen. But I would say, right now that maybe it
I
looks
would need
like
to fly to.
you need to what?
I would anyway need to fly to Nice, so I was checking also the trains to Cannes, and there are also no night trains to Cannes from Nice to Cannes. So just that also maybe you need to know for other people.
Hmm. Okay, well, just to keep in mind that maybe even though it doesn't look like it right now, let's keep our fingers crossed, because what's important here is to know that what's starting here is an association of life givers spreading across the globe who are all working towards and who want a new way, who are working towards this worldwide emergency peace initiative. So if you could get there, if you can connect to each other, I mean, it'll be more powerful and more energy for all of yous if yous can connect. I mean, it's not to say that yous can't do anything, together after that. I mean, through the internet, everybody can still work, but it would be best if physically, if you and Edith can be in the same space and time, along with Natalie Kessler, who's the one that's behind all of this, like the life giver who's been dragged through the gauntlet herself, so it's gonna be, I see it myself as very important for you life givers to get together, just to physically be in the same space and time together, and let the alchemying between yous begin, to get that energy flowing between you, that this can then be brought back, that Edith will bring back some of that energy, that Natalie will have that energy where she is, and you'll have their energy, and together all of yous, and more than just yous, will be able to stand and represent, regardless of where yous are, will be able to represent each other. So this was the intent here, that the intent is to get you physically together. Of course, from our end, it's very limited what we can do. We're invited there ourselves, so it's not like we came up with the money ourselves, like to get there, and we would never come up with the idea of saying, hey, let's go to cons, so we're all subjected to whatever's gonna happen, but we'll try to make it happen. We just spoke with her yesterday and informed, that was yesterday, we had a meeting with her, and informed her about you and about that we're trying to get you there, but there is no space left in the place where the people are going to be staying, and like you said, this is what Natalie told us too, try to find a place in cons, and she actually even warned us too about like the like say like the lack of freedom, like you said, you can't sleep in your car there, so there's it's really kind of limited as to the freedom of being able to get there, because we know that place is for elites, what they call elites. So again, people might be saying, well, what would you be doing there? Well, we're there to kick in the door. We're going there to kick in the door and to shed light on a worldwide problem, and to address from life givers' perspective what all the life givers everywhere on earth are subjected to. War and the practice, the conduct of war, the insanity that comes along with it must be stopped. You cannot think, any non-native person in this world, anybody throughout Europe, you got to stop and think about how stupid
the people are being if after hundreds of years, thousands of years, that yous are all still just at war. It tells you that regardless of the technology, that you have such technology that can take you to the moon, supposedly, but yet right here at home, everybody's at war because of that technology. It tells us that we're all barking up the wrong tree. We're all going in the wrong direction. So something has to kick that door in and shed light on the issue, and to have life givers there all in one spot to be stating these things is what the world needs right now. You know, every other thing is just not working. So Radharani, we're gonna keep trying here from the limited that we can do. And if you can keep trying, and at the very least, Edith's gonna maintain communication with you, even if there's nothing known yet. By the time she's there, maybe we find out that this Marianique comes back from wherever she is, but I heard that they're actually even doing renovations in her house. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the thought is there and the effort is there. Our mind is with you. We've been thinking about you a lot as to what you are confronted with, where you are at. I would imagine it's like being in the middle of the ocean without even a life jacket or anything, and just having to try to survive, what it's like for the women there. So, you know, we want to bridge this gap between us so that we can work together, so that the voices of the women, of the life givers, can be heard all around the earth. So at the very least, I'll say this: prepare yourself for, just in case, your statement of what is confronting the women. At the very least, have that statement prepared. Have it as short as possible, condensed, because don't forget, we're going to be with people who are entertainment industry. So, you know, they're not going to be very, have a long attention span for things that are not exciting in their field, you know. Like, gee, creating peace is not exciting for the movie industry, you know. So work on your statement. Try to have it as condensed as possible. And even if you cannot be there, the work that is going to continue, there is going to be an opening at some point. By the time we get to the summer solstice on what is that, June 21st, something like that. By the time we get there, there's going to be an opening for life givers around the world to be giving their testimonies together. So get ready for that.
So thank you, everyone. I've been thinking of you all the time, although I haven't been around to talk to you, honestly. You were on my mind all the time, sometimes even much more than people around me. My heart is with you. Yes, we work on this, Edith. Hopefully it happens, but otherwise, just as Stuart said, we find each other somehow, somewhere. And thank you, everyone else, for having me around tonight. I say tonight because it's actually 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. here. Stay well. Yeah, we keep in touch.
That's nothing. I'll be up at least till 3 a.m. Okay, not to keep you up any longer, but is there any final thing that you would like to say as to what your experience is right now? What's happening there in your neck of the woods?
That my heartbeat is maybe coming back again. It's been completely shut down for months now. So thank you. That's my final statement for today.
Oh. All right, thank you. Now we'll go Radharani. It's always good to see you. It's been what, like when were you here? 2 years ago?
Was that 2 years or 3 years?
1 year ago.
1
1 year
year?
ago. Yeah.
Last summer? Oh, wow. Wow, it's,
Okay, just shortly, just as an info. Remember this blessing ceremony that I called up for a new baby? That
Yeah.
was 1 year ago.
okay, all
1 year
right.
and 1 week ago. And believe it or not, but it was just yesterday that my friend, the Serbian one in Canada, somehow pushed this present through because I couldn't get it through to the mother. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
It
Okay,
made me really sad. But we're moving something hopefully now.
Hmm. Okay, all right, Radharani, it's so good to see you. Take good care of yourself and stay afloat in that ocean. We're coming with our canoe. Don't worry, we're gonna get there soon. Okay, you have a good night and we'll talk to you soon. Yeah, we'll go. All righty. Okay, right now what would be best is I wanted to address this thing from Lisa. But we'll save that to the end. Okay, Curry, I don't know if you're there, uh if we can just like reverse back to where we were before we were talking to Radharani about the whole circumstance and everything that's transpiring here in Ganawagi now. So if you're there, what do you know about the current stuff?
Oh, what do I know? Well, like you stated earlier in the past, when the governments and individuals seemed fit for our community, Kahnawake, to host an array of dumps. Um, well, here comes the Indian Act again, rearing their ugly face. Apparently, the JFK, the genocidal compliant industrial maniacs of the 207, are suing the ban system for a loss of profits this year because they put a hold on to their dump. Apparently they're using um I guess the Indian Act has a set of rules that you can the limits of contamination or contaminated materials you could bring to a native reserve. Apparently, they don't meet the criteria of the Ganawagi environment and landfill ban system organizations. So they're saying, well, it's too contaminated for us. You can't bring your material here. But I guess Frank McCumber and is it Jay Jacobs um want to go with the Indian Act's limits to contamination, their standards.
In the press release, it says, in addition, the plaintiff argues that the Ganawage sanitary conditions law exceeds the regulatory authority granted to ban councils under the Indian Act in relation to environmental matters, inspector powers, and penalties.
Wow. Okay, so that means on some level that the ban system is having to readdress the permits that they granted them, that they granted to JFK. And we all know the reason why the ban system is only like backstepping now because of the advancements that the Ganyangahaga land defenders have made, bringing this to the attention of the people, and it's becoming such a publicly known issue now that now it's like they can't continue to continue to with their corruption right in front of the people's faces.
Like they're shamed into this circumstance now. So it's not something that the ban system came out and done because of they were just protecting the land. It's something
They're
that
so righteous.
yeah,
They got righteous all of a sudden.
yeah. Well, if that's the case, then we got to take advantage of that. Not to say to support the ban system, but to identify that, well, if the ban system has somehow put a stop or preventing them, and then JFK has to go to the outside courts, this is something that is going to tear apart Ganawagi. Physically, right now, just that action is tearing apart Ganawagi. Because in the first place, the ban system went in that direction of selling the permits. And now, because of the Ganyangahaga land defenders bringing it public, now they want to back up. But JFK advanced because of the permits from the ban system. So what it's doing, and now JFK applying now to the province in the courts, what it's doing physically, it's pulling Ganawagi apart like this. That's the effect that this court action is going to have upon all of Ganawagi. And this, in this corruption, is the first trickle, like the crack in the dam, the first little drop of water that goes through the other side. This is the first trickle, because there's going to be so many other companies from Ganawagi and non-native companies that are going to end up suing, just like that casino, going to end up suing the ban system. And then who is on the hook for that when the ban system is sued? Because every time yeah, but how though? How would we be on the hook for this? Because where does the ban system get their money from? It doesn't come from Ganawagi or Ono.
Sure it does. We're considered clients, and it's stipulated too in a lot of their, especially with that $500 one-time distribution nonsense, that only clients of the MCK are allowed to. So we're all clientele. Why are we clientele? We pay them, we give them, or they take our money.
Yeah.
Whatever money's they allocate it from the federal government, probably the provincial, whatever is owed to us.
Well,
And
it's from
Ryan stated in the past on the radio. Ryan said on the radio in the past that they're keeping track of every person who's giving birth. They know how many people who has the children, how many children. So they're keeping track of families.
And so how the ban system, how we are wrongly associated with the ban system is through the ban system's municipal agreement with the province, that just like Chattageek, if you went and bought something, you're at the cash where you're paying and taxes are collected, you don't give 10 cents to Chattageek. You don't give whatever amount to the province and to the Fed. It's all collected. It goes into one tax fund, which is then separated between federal and provincial, and then from there it gets separated down further even more to each municipality. So this is how and where Ganawagi is right now a municipality under Quebec because of the agreements that the ban system made under their sellout policy of self-government. So they are all, the ban system is a provincial municipal entity that gets its money based on those numbers, like what you just said, how many children, how many people are in the community, and it takes into a lot of demographic factors, such as if there is health conditions, physical deformity, stuff like that, then more money is given, whatever. So you know that this is where the ban system wants more money from the province, which means they manipulate the numbers of the people of Ganawagi, and they'll take advantage now of the circumstance they created of creating unhealthy people, which now is a different number for the province that actually the province then allocates more money. So we actually stepped into a Chinese finger trap here, where once you're in it, you got no choice but to go deeper and deeper and deeper. There is no safe way out of it after that. There's no peaceful way out of it. So what it means is that eventually, at one point, we're watching Ganawagi come full circle from where Ganawagi started 50 years ago, well, now 53 years ago, in the riots that were here in Ganawagi, where the people stood up and fought against the laws that were being inflicted upon us, provincial laws that were being inflicted through at the time. They were Quebec provincial police that were here and RCMP. So now it's going to be the peacekeepers that, well, it's not going to be, it is. It's the peacekeepers that are compromising and selling out all the people of Ganawagi, compromising your and my two-row Wampum treaty rights, and exposing us to provincial right here within our territory. So what it means, like I said, full circle, there is going to be an uprising against the ban system and the police, the PKs that are here, because they are completely selling out and compromising all the people of Ganawagi, locking us into having no choice but to partake in a provincial municipal process. This is not going to fly for Ganawagi and Ono. Ganawagi and Ono is going to rise up against this, and who it's going to be, it won't be me. I'll be sitting back laughing. The same way, remember this, when there was a casino issue, the children that the ban system created rose up and protested against the ban system. Because remember, it was a bunch of the children from the survival school that came and protested right at the ban system against their casino, and the Belly, who was the mayor at the time, the heck's his name? I can only remember him as the Belly.
Mike DeLille.
Mike DeLille. I was standing there watching, I was filming as the kids from the survival school were there protesting, and out comes the Belly with the stupid remarks, the stupid statements, trying to convince the children why we needed a casino. So those circumstances, what I'm saying about an uprising, happened in 73. It happened again in 84. It happened again against the casinos, which was, I think it's around 2000, whenever that was, when the kids protested against the casinos. But the reality is that we fought against those casinos since the early 90s. But then these circumstances are going to arise here. I would say that they're going to begin this summer. That the upheaval in the community of the people just having enough with you see hundreds of peacekeepers all over the place. You step out my door any day, any hour of the day or night, and you're going to see peacekeepers, peacekeepers, peacekeepers. That's all you're going to see. And you're seeing peacekeepers bothering our children in the bushes, telling and inflicting upon you that our children need to have a driver's license in the bush for their ATC, which no, they do not need. You do not need a driver's license in Ganawagi for anything. The PKs are selling out the people and compromising the people's two-row Wampum treaty rights, and this is going to create the rubber band effect that's going to snap back, and it's going to whip them in the face, meaning the cops and the ban system once again. You're going to watch upheaval start this summer upon them. So get ready for that, and it's not going to be any of us that are going to have to do anything. It's going to be people such as like Frank, who went into contract with the ban system and then get stabbed in the back by the ban system. Just like at Snakes, the Greek mafia guy goes in, makes a contract with the ban system, and then the band system stabs them in the back. So this means the band system is basically stealing money off of people. And that's exactly what, as you know, as you just read off, that's what Frank is saying. The band system is stealing money off of them. So soon, you and I, we're not going to have to say anything. It's going to be the people, the greedy people who went out in the first place to suck the band system's ass. It's going to be them who are going to be rising against the band system. Because it's all this economic nonsense that the band system is always doing. Where if we look back from here and we roll the band system's colonial blanket back over us, as it rolled over us this way, if we unravel it, what was the last endeavor that the band system did economic wise? Hey, wait a minute, wasn't that these wind turbines? Isn't there a big controversy around that? And where is this money coming from that the band system stole from the people of Ganawagi to invest? The band system is not our investors. They are not a business. They are a legal entity that do not exist in the world. They are the white man's monster within us. And so you look back, roll that blanket back even more. I don't know if you remember this. I think it was in the 90s sometime. Joe Norton, Davis Rice, Bud Morris, again, another corrupted venture that Bud was in to get his finger cut off because his mafia, up to his neck in mafia. Well, they made another deal with some kind of airline or airplane company or something in upstate New York. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Millions of
I
dollars.
remember that.
Gone just like that. What happened to it? Oh, the band system was reassuring the people they were investing their money in this and it would be a good venture. It's just gone. You know what that means? The millions of dollars that the band system stole to invest in that, they knew it was being stolen in the first place, but they had to put it somewhere that kind of looked legitimate that could then trickle back to them in their pockets. Band system is thieves because what it is it's the second phase of what was there first. And the first phase that was there before band system is the Indian Act. Not the Indian Act, the Indian agents. So the Indian agents were a bunch of thieves. Like I said, Breezeball established himself here in Ganawagi by selling permits, getting rich, earning monies off of the construction mafia and bringing these garbage dumps into different parts of Ganawagi. And they were all over the 207, sprinkle on both sides of the 207. You know, so I say by this summer, you're going to see people rising up against the band system. And it ain't going to have to be us. It's going to be the ones that the band system made deals with. So you're going to be seeing people who were upstanding business people in the community, like as if they're smart people. They rose to power through cigarettes. These are not smart people. These are as dumb as they get. Because everybody in Ganawagi who took that white man's money that was thrown at us through the tobacco industry, that was to sell our people out. That was to destroy our people. So, okay, very interesting then what's going on. Why would the band system all of a sudden take some kind of action, whatever it is, knowing that they sold the permits and they were involved in the negotiations to get the company, what's the company that is dumping
Altera.
Altera. So the band system was directly involved in those negotiations.
Yeah.
And then for them now to say, this is what shows you where the power is. The power is not in the band system. You know where the power is? It's right here. Look at that. It's with the Ganyangahaga land defenders. That's where the power is. And that's where the people must rise to take their responsibility to protect the land. Because when the people stand up and follow through, if they say they're going to protect the land, you gotta follow through with it. And when the people follow through with it, like what the land defenders have done, then you'll see that no matter how much lawyers' letters they send to you, it means nothing. Because they're
That's another question that should be asked. The JFK is suing the bank council, the band system. Who's their lawyer? Weren't they all in bed with the same Bill Snyder?
I didn't think of that. Phil Snyder is the band system's lawyer, and that's JFK's lawyer too.
Yeah.
Because I remember when JFK sent you that letter to cease and desist, and we wrote the letter to tell them to buzz off. You know, it was Phil Snyder who was their lawyer, and Phil Snyder's the band system's lawyer. So what kind of conflict of interest? When you look at it, when you step back and you look what's happening, Phil Snyder, a white man, is addressing what's happening in Kahnawake between the band system and the people of Kahnawake in the white man's courts. Wow, you can't get any more stupider, Kahnawake. This is the ultimate stupidity of Kahnawake. To see that it's first the band system making these corrupted deals with the white man, and what so-called business people in town here, and then them fighting against each other, and then them suing each other in the white man's court with their own lawyer that they have on both sides of them. What a three-ring circus it is. It's a monkey show.
Might be a clear-cut case of who's got the bigger wallet at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
so obviously band system. I'm sure JFK went somewhere else. I guess I'll just have to wait for my next lawyer letter from them. See who's representing.
Well, that lawyer letter didn't do a damn bit of good anyways.
Yeah.
You know, after we wrote that letter to that lawyer, Phil Snyder, telling him to act accordingly and to stop what they're doing. As you know, they did not proceed any further on that because they can't. So no matter what they're going to do, they're going to try to get away with everything that they can. And it doesn't matter. They could write their deals down and send their MCR to Ottawa to say that this is all legal. It doesn't matter. All we got to do is write one letter, and it undermines it all. So
well, you got to remember too that Kahnawake will have to say what goes on here. Not no band system, not no how do you want to call them Mugwehunwe JFK? You know, just take a look at them.
well, you can't call them Ongoyhunwe. You can't even call them Kahnawake. Because the fact is that Fefe, Jay, and that whole organization, they incorporated themselves under white man's laws, which means they are no longer native. They've enfranchised themselves. Now, here in Kahnawake, people may not remember what enfranchisement means. But you gotta then look to the people in the West, because this is where they were really hit with enfranchisement. When they were left, when they were then ushered out of the British Church Nazis concentration camps on Native children, what they called residential schools in the West, in all the nations, what they did, they offered them a buyout right away, a $5,000 buyout to sell their band number. And that was enfranchisement, which made them taxable for the rest of their lives, which made them as non-native people, as white people. So here, the people are, no other word except to say they're just too dumb to realize everybody in Kahnawake, the moment that you incorporated, you enfranchised yourself. Now, how many people are incorporated here in Kahnawake? Through David Donizakta, through the corruption of the band system, anybody wanting to create even just a small business you are all ushered into the corruption of enfranchising yourself by the David Donizakta insisting that you register with Quebec, which means incorporate as under the province of Quebec, which means you're a provincial citizen from the municipality of Ganawagi. But Ganawagi don't understand this kind of stuff. They're too lead-brained. Everybody was socially engineered to be the way that they are today, currently, where everybody just allows corruption. So the good efforts that the Ganyangahaga land defenders have made, it's going to go a long ways. Even if the Ganyangahaga land defenders were all killed off today, which is an option that, you know, the ban system's looking at. Even if the land defenders were all killed off today, the land defenders' efforts are going to continue into the future. The ban system cannot do a damn thing about it. They're just going to find themselves locked into legal battle after legal battle that they're never going to be able to win. Guaranteed, they're going to lose this case. If Fefe brought this case and Jay brought this case against them, it's only because the lawyers know that they got a case against them and that there's nothing that the ban system would be able to do.
I believe it's their Fefa Frank Jr., spoiled little brat kid that owns the quarry right now. I think he's running the show. That's his legacy. If you look on the Rover report, which I'll be displaying back to the community, he claims that's his legacy. You know, right from Percy to Fifi to Fifi Jr. So I mean Fefe, sorry.
Huh.
So it's a legacy, you know, the dump owners.
Yeah.
So their
Yeah.
family legacy.
Well, that line had no problem selling out the people for the Seaway anyways.
Yeah. And that goes even further. So you know, you plant potatoes, you get potatoes.
Yeah.
So
And at that time of I forget what his first name was, but he was a Lazar that was in as mayor at the time of the Seaway. Matty Lazar.
Maddie,
Yeah. He sold out for the Seaway. And you know that at that time, all the dumps that were going on in Ganawagi, you know that he had to have been signed off on it directly. So the Lazar family, the line, they're in the corruption of Ganawagi for generations. Yeah, so it is their legacy. The corruption is their legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now then the most that we can do is sit back and wait and see what happens in the court, huh?
yeah. Well, there's one idea I have. Me and the wife here are in a little bit of a, I guess we'll say, a dilemma, trying to figure out what to do. Do you remember a few years back before Jeremiah Johnson became an elected official? He encountered some construction junk along the seaway, and he just so happened to find the information of the contractor of who dumped the construction junk along the river. I don't remember the company's name or the guy's name, but he did dump it on the internet. The guy's email, his phone number, his address. So maybe I'm thinking we should do the same thing with Saltara. Put his email out there, put his number on there, um, his picture, his company, all their associates, and you know, let the town chew on them for a little while.
Yeah, that's a good idea. This somewhere in the, I think it was yesterday,
I'm talking with somebody and I don't know where this was. Edith, do you remember where it came up, this issue about that we should write a letter to the company?
Oh, that's Daniel. I spoke with him yesterday, but he was talking more on the non-native side of things.
Okay, hang on. Edith's got a little bit of information here within the whole ball of wax.
Yeah, I spoke to Daniel yesterday because I haven't heard nothing from him. So I was just like looking to know some news. So first off, he did say that if he had a carry, that's what he said, in each community, like things would be way different because I think he's really impressed that you just, take your truck and go do sampling and do everything like by yourself, that nobody has that stamina in any other community that he has seen. So first he said that. But then he said that for the non-native side of things, he was talking about the coalition, that what should be started now is to write to the customers of the dumpers. For example, he was referring to stablets, all of that import of crap that is being sent from supposedly the US to the so-called Canada to go be dumped there, and that now is trying to be dumped here. If the list of the customers that do that receive a letter saying, by the way, do you know that what you are sending is polluting the lands, and just to do a little like debrief of everything that is happening in the surrounding areas. For example, here with the JFK, up north with the Stabler.
Mascouche. Yeah.
Yeah, and that we could have like the different places, for example, even the horn smelter, So everybody could like write the letters to the clients, and then that will create like a kind of like, how do you call it? Like it will ruin their reputation. And then maybe they will start losing customers. So then he said, well, that's the way that they are gonna come after us, and they are gonna try to sue us, like the companies. But that's exactly like the strategy that is needed, because when leveling or weighing how to go in the judicial level in all of this, as it has been said before, it cannot be the native initiating a judicial process within the legal framework of so-called Canada or so-called Quebec, because that's immediately, by doing so, relinquishing the status of treaty of equal to equal and submitting themselves, the natives, to the legal structure, invented legal structure of so-called Canada. So it's forfeiting the treaty rights. So that cannot happen. But from the non-native side, if the non-native side is brought to court, then they can call upon the native in the same level of treaty rights. So it's the first time, that because me, I was thinking, how are we gonna do this? Natives should not sue, like never, the non-native side of things. But if it's the non-native side of things that is brought to court through this technique, then it changes things. It changes the whole strategy. So
Well, that's kind of why well, besides my concern for, human life in general, it doesn't matter what color a kid's skin is, or an old elderly person, or even the people that don't like native people, that's why I went testing on the outside, primarily public places and people I know, you know, because that's ultimately that's where a lot of the push is gonna come from. So on the outside. I
yeah,
mean, besides us, but so
yeah,
so everything's gonna work together, hopefully.
yeah.
I mean, things took a very nice turn for the better, in our favor, as I'm seeing with everything that's going on right now. So there
So,
is hope.
And by the way, have you got any return from the snow samples? Not yet, I guess it is.
No, not actually. It's literally one drop at a time to filter. I believe there was 8 liters of snow melt combined in different locations and samples. So it's roughly ELS was telling me it's 24 to 30 hours per sample, and 2 filters per sample. Oh, and we're also looking at into digestive analysis, that actual digesting with acid per samples. We got the tools, we got the talent, so we might as well use it. You know, just to show exactly our capabilities and what we're actually developing into. And maybe sometime down the road, if we can get the funding or something, there might be a possible chance of the Ganyaga land defenders having an analytical lab for analysis, chemical analysis. I mean, if anything is possible at this point, sky's the limit. I mean, it's nothing that we can build except for a building or something, but it's very possible. Maybe sometime in the future. Like I see, we're constantly evolving. So you see, we got the tools, we got the talent, so we're gonna use it.
I think that we're close to the stage of the different associations that we made, the different connections that we made. Now here I'll just go out on a limb and say that what our associations with Michelle, what's his name? Labrec
But
at the Botanical Gardens. He showed us, he took us around in the place, ready, willing to work with us. Of course, there's been a lot of complications in that. I think that with the right wording, a document to them, we could probably get the Montreal Botanical Gardens to maybe allow us to use their labs or even their scientists, that if we have something that we can go into their lab, and while they're doing the work, they could show us actually how to do the work, I think we're at that stage of being able to make this happen now.
Yeah.
So just a few more little connections needs to be made, and connections meaning like now a letter campaign. A letter campaign is what was suggested, like what was just said, but kind of like basically just a letter to the government. Why are you even entertaining this association with Solterra and the band system and JFK? Why would you do this? And also for the survival school, a letter to the province and to the Fed. Why did they fund the school there for all these years? Why would they do that? So a matter of the right wording now, the right letters in the right place, asking the right questions on a public level will cause a disruption within them anyways. And it will fling the Ganyangahaga land defenders into a new state of being. And this is where, once that's there, I'll say that this is where we can make these connections with the Montreal Botanical Gardens. So I think that we're probably a couple of months away from that. All we got to do is get the letter writing campaign down, and have a bunch of other people, our friends, our allies. I doubt if anybody from Ganawagi is going to do anything. I mean, I don't count on anyone from Ganawagi doing anything.
well, we're starting to turn heads in town. Before they heard us talking, they heard us shouting, but I think now they're starting to listen. But it remains to be seen. So.
Well, when we think that everybody in Ganawagi is all bought and paid for, all working in the band system, this is one of the things that I said earlier to
our friend Radharani, is that, and you know this, that while everybody was going away ironworking, while all the men were away working, all the women were all working as bureaucrats within the band system, undermining what the men were doing by ironworking, going out and thinking we're bringing our money back to provide for our families, and then in our ceremonies, and then even in the issues we were fighting for, protesting against the government. The women of Ganawagi were undermining the entire process, undermining our people. That's a reality. You look right now, how many people does the band system employ? And what's the majority of them? The majority of them are secretaries, bureaucrats, the majority of them are women. Wow. It really reveals something about the nation, where the nation's mentality is. So for me,
money is the ultimate corrupter.
yeah,
It splits families. Me personally, I don't care about money. Whatever money anybody would be fighting about in my family, I'll tell them to shove it where the sun don't shine, and I don't care. You know. So
Well-
I'm firsthand. I'm witnessing it, and people. You can only imagine the extents people will go to for it. So it's the ultimate corrupter, and unfortunately, there's karma that comes along with that.
well, I'll tell you, actually, I can't imagine how far people will go for that, because like you, I never cared about it. I don't care for money. I'm not rich. I could have had a lot of money. I could have just put my hand out and said, yeah, okay, I'll take the deal. But I've never cared for it either. So I can't imagine really how far the greedy people would go to continue to maintain the lifestyle of them selling out. How much they get paid to sell out. When
Well, I
you
guess
think of,
I guess we can see what. Just take a look around. We're seeing it. So
yeah, we could see the people who do it, but we can't see the actual where the deals are made. Like how much of a low life scumbag you gotta be, to make these deals with the band system, to make these deals, bringing in outside companies, outside businesses, to destroy the community. And then for you to stand there and talk like, or the person to stand there and talk like as if they're a member of the community. No way. They're not a member of the community. They are taking advantage of white man's conduct, white man's laws to destroy the community. That's not a member of this community. Not at all. So, for myself, I can say in some areas I could imagine, because of like what I revealed, some people, one of the guys in the casino who's in the band system, he told me himself that he actually used the Augusta to get money. And we know that there's a lot of people in this community that are that corrupt that they even go that far to even misuse the medicines to take people's lives for their own benefit, for their own profit. So we know that this is the way Ganawagi is. And here's one of the dynamics that I'm pointing out, is that as a life protector, or as a guy, or whatever, in Ganawagi, I have been undermined by the women in Ganawagi, because they're all in the band system kissing the white man's ass. And they're all getting paid very handsomely for it. When you think of,
unfortunately, you're right, and there's a lot of them that are the worst type of human beings to be found, and these are supposed to be our women.
well, I'm sure that on a lot of levels, the women have this to say about guys also. But when these things are brought to the public's information, and after that, well, you can't justify any longer how these people continue to stay kissing the white man's ass, bending over backwards, jumping through hoops of fire to kiss his ass just so that they can get their $1,100, $1,200 paycheck a week. Some of them, as you know, it's even like $2,000 a week they're getting paid. For what? For doing nothing. They do nothing because all they got to do is sign off on the policy that's coming down at them from the province. Those are do-nothings. They're do-nothing people. Anyways, okay, so now we look at expanding a letter writing campaign. So what we'll do is we'll come up with a sort of like a generic letter that anybody could send, that everybody could take advantage of. We'll put it online, but that would only be a suggestion. Everybody should actually come up with more than what we're going to put there, you know, like a bare bones type of document as a suggestion to people to put forward. Okay, so we should do this. Should be done within a week. We're very busy, but somewhere within, let's say somewhere by next Wednesday, we should be able to be back here next Wednesday with a document that we could at least have a starter document. So maybe one day this week or whenever. I know it's hard because it's planting time right now, but maybe on a rainy day or something we could get together just to sit and to brainstorm and to like get the best ideas and the best words that should be there, you know, and then formulate it.
And actually, Katsitsa, how I was saying, if we could go and help to put some of the fish on the hemp garden. So I told her that maybe we could go this Saturday. So
Fish hemp fish. Okay, yeah, we'll get back to you on that because as you know, we're in our garden here too, but we got to get the hemp. So right now, I'll show you what Edith's working on right now. I don't know if you can see that. This is what came
That's
from,
the seed.
yeah, this is what came from your hemp garden last year.
Mm.
And of course, she's getting a lot more. There's still a lot more. But yeah, we're gonna get somehow we're gonna make the time and we're gonna get to you and help with the hemp garden there. If there's anybody in Kahnawake who wants to help with the hemp, now get this. This week I was asked by a few people for hemp. Okay, I told one guy, I won't say who, you know, just for just to protect the community. One guy messaged me and asked me about it, and I told him, I says, well, message me again, and just to push me to say, hey, where does it stand? So he pushed me this week twice, and I was surprised. Wow, the guy really wants to plant hemp. So I gave him a big jar of hemp seeds and explained to him a little bit how to plant it, you know, like what he should do. As you know, that the way we planted at your hemp garden, the seeds were like what, the rows were about a foot apart, and we planted them basically, they were all just like the seeds were all sprinkled together. So if you want, a person could not even have any rows. You could just sprinkle the hemp everywhere, all over the ground, and the hemp will just grow up like thick, and it'll be like a almost like a hedge, you know, like it's good for blocking out stuff, but of course it's only for the summer. But this way will not produce as many seeds. If you got the hemp all close together, it's still going to produce seeds, but it won't produce as many as if you give them space, you know, like for the branches to grow out and more buds and more seeds, you know. So, but this is where, as we get more into it, then we can select, you know, like within a couple of years, we'll have enough return of seeds because other people are sending us seeds too. Mary Claude's mother, she sent us a bunch of seeds. We still got seeds to give away. I'll show you this. If anybody wants more seeds, we got a lot of seeds. We got a bunch of these packs of seeds that Mary Claude's mother took from her hemp garden. You see that? Even just this little bag for one person in your yard. You plant that one little bag, and next year you're gonna have this much seeds from the one little bag that I just showed you of this. You'll have at least this much seeds next year, at least. So if you are Ganawagi, Rono, or even anywhere from the around the territory, what I'm gonna do in the next couple of days is gonna put a sign out by the road like we had a couple of years ago, you know, saying free hemp seeds. Anybody wants it, come and get it. So we're gonna leave a box of seeds out by the road that we don't have to have contact. You don't have to talk to me. You don't have to compromise your status in Ganawagi. You could just come and stop and take the free seeds that were given to anybody. I don't care if you're a band system, if you're Christian Handsome Laker, if you're Warrior Society, or if you're a non-native person from the outside. I don't care. We're going to provide these seeds. It'll be out on the table by the road in front of my place here. Once you see the sign saying free hemp seeds, anybody can come and stop and get it. You plant this much seeds in your backyard, and you're going to have a lot of seeds for next year. The idea is for us to collectively gather seeds, a bunch of seeds, so that we can keep sending it out around the world to people. And eventually we'll have enough for here in Ganawagi too. We'll get to the stage of where we'll be able to use it industrially. Begin to start to harvest the stock, process it to where we can create either for insulation for homes, or actually for to add it with other composites to create things like 2x4s and stuff like that, where we could actually build with it. So when you think of all the forests that are getting cut down on a daily basis, you know, just so that you can have toilet paper, just so that you can build your patio deck on the back of your house, all of this can be done with hemp without the negative impact within creation, because it will actually, you think right now, if you got your toilet paper, you know, you go buy your toilet paper at the grocery store or wherever, and you know that comes from a bunch of trees that had to be cut down and processed, and then blah, 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 and the whole process is further polluting. Well, you think of then getting your toilet paper not from cutting down trees. So there's trees, you cut them down, you eliminate it to have toilet paper. But with hemp, you don't cut nothing down, you actually plant stuff. There's more stuff that grows, and from that, you create toilet paper. Wow, this is revolutionary. This reverses the whole negative impact of economics upon the environment. All we got to do here in Ganawagi is pull our heads out of the white man's rear end and get our collective energy, that as we're divided, at least put our energy for Mama, for Mother Earth, like the land defenders are doing, and we can change the world from right here in Ganawagi. We're already doing it. It's already happening. It's begun. It's just that it's just too small right now. You know, there's only, as far as I know now, there's only your hemp garden on your property, Curry. And now this guy that came here to get the seeds off me yesterday,
There's only these 2 hemp gardens in Ganawagi, as far as I know. So we should get, we definitely need to have more. So I don't care who you are. You hate my guts? I don't care if you hate my guts. Take the seeds that I'm offering you for free and plant them to heal Mother Earth. And these, again, were given to me by our friends that we gave the seeds to in the first place, who then harvest it and send the seeds back to us so that we can give more seeds up. Wow, we have established ourselves in a niche. I don't know if that's the proper reference there, but we've created a special niche for ourselves as to where we're in the business of not making money. We're not making any goddamn money at this. We're not getting rich at it, no way, no how. But it's an investment in our children's future. It's an investment in the future of Ganawagi, in the land of Ganawagi.
I guess you can say we are a non-profit organization, traditionally based non-profit organization. And that's another thing I want to speak. We gotta make ourselves a website. Gahaga Land Defenders, who, what, where, when, and why.
Yep, yep.
Get us
So
out there and
if there's anybody out there who knows how to build websites, I don't know, maybe somebody from Ganawagi, maybe one of our non-native friends, maybe a two-row wampum ally, maybe you could help us to build even just a small little scraggly site, something to get to introduce the Ganyangahaga land defenders to the rest of the world. And then maybe that's maybe where we can start to turn a profit, like maybe selling t-shirts, because there's people on, since I put out the post last night, there's people who sent me messages asking if they can purchase these shirts or the sweatshirt of the Ganyangahaga land defenders. And right now, well, as of last night, I wasn't really certain, so I just said what I know, that they're being sold at Jason's place at the end of the 207, the west, on the right-hand side at the border of Ganawagi and St. Isidore. So if anybody was from the area, all you got to do is drive down Highway 30, get off on Route 207, turn into Ganawagi, and soon as you do, you turn left right away, because on your left-hand side, you'll see the store there, the West. It's a cigarette store, it's a convenience store, but this is where you'll find the Ganyangahaga Land Defenders shirts and sweatshirt. Look at this sweatshirt, my goodness. When I seen this, I said, oh my goodness, this thing is so beautiful.
hats are coming in soon. Basically look the same as the sweaters, except in a hat.
So there, if somebody could help us to establish a website or a page or something, wherever we can like have a general
I can help.
who's that?
Angel.
What am I hearing? What?
Hi, it's Angel, daughter of Jeanne Moss, granddaughter of Jeanne, great-granddaughter of Marianne, Turtle Clan temporary representative. I can help if nobody in Ganawagi say they can help. I can. So.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is just to give people a chance here in Ganawagi, we'll leave it open until this weekend. We'll make a little post later and say the Ganyangahaga Land Defenders are looking for someone from Ganawagi who can make a website, who can help us in that area. And if we don't get any answer by, let's say, Saturday, then we'll go with what you are suggesting, Angel. We'll go with what you can do, and we'll take it from there. I know you understand the importance of it being someone from Ganawagi to get on board to help this, because this would actually be a step in not just them doing something on the internet. It's a step in them being proactive in defending the land.
it wouldn't be just them making a website, so. So we'll do it that way. If we don't hear anything from, by Saturday, Angel, then, we'll expect you to have it completed by Sunday morning.
You're really funny. But yeah, at any time in the process, someone wants to step in, I will gladly give my place. So it's just if nobody wants to or can, I will.
Okay, perfect. All right, so, that's the first thing. We'll make just a little announcement. A short, very short post about that we're looking for someone, who could help us with the website. So that we'll put up and we'll share that right away and we'll give it until Saturday. After that, I don't think, what do you think, Curry? Is that a good deadline by Saturday or should we extend it? Because this needs to be up soon, right?
Yeah, well, whatever works. How much support we get. So
Yeah.
we'll take it from there. We'll see you Saturday.
All righty. Okay, so, as you know, the Ganyangahaga land defenders are not just talking about JFK Quarry. We're not just talking about, the lead poisoning of all of Ganawagi through the, TerraPure, being right on top of the Ganawagi Survival School. The Ganyangahaga Land Defenders addresses everything about Ganawagi, about the land. So it doesn't mean just, there's a construction site there and that's what's poisoning it. Land Defenders means everything, right across the board. It's the slow creeping in of provincial and federal laws into Ganawagi. This is what we're fighting against also. I'm a part of the Ganyangahaga Land Defenders, and the action that I'm taking in court, it might not be what the land defenders are doing, but my action in court is a defense of the land, a defense against the ban system, against the PKs, against their selling out of our people in compromising our two-row wampum treaty rights right here in Ganawagi. So all of it is one big ball of wax. Okay, anyways, I'll leave it there. Perry, unless there's anything else final that you want to say on this. If not, we're just gonna move on. Okay, so moving on to closing, I guess. Unless there's something else that anybody wanted to address or wanted to say or put forward. There is something I want to address. Yeah, okay. I gotta get this thing I'm gonna share with you. Some of you may know, you may have seen this. It's a post made by Lisa Gibson in Ganassadage. So give me a minute, I gotta find this thing. Where am I?
It's here, yeah.
What is this?
No, close it because yeah, no. You can go to the Zoom. I can do it for you.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Click on share sound. Yeah.
So this is Lisa Gibson. I did not ask her if I could share this here tonight, but she put this as an open statement to everybody in social media. So I'm on social media, so I'm gonna share it here also. I know that she wouldn't mind. I hope she wouldn't.
She actually was saying on the Facebook Live that she would have liked to be here on the Zoom, but she was got her phone on her internet and that she was at a Tim Hortons listening, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So here it is, everybody.
Cego, I'm not coming here today with comfort. I'm not coming here with soft words. I'm coming here because something is wrong. There is an urgency, and it's been wrong for a long time. There has been another shooting in our community, another act of violence, another moment where our people look around and nothing is done, nothing is said. And I have to ask, how much more are we going to accept? This is not random. This is not isolated. Organized crime has moved in, taken hold, and continues to operate while our people are left unsafe in our own territory. And silence has allowed it. So this is not just a message. This is a cry for help. I'm calling to the women, the ones who still carry that strength, the ones who know deep down that this is not how we were meant to live. I'm calling to the real warriors, if there are any still standing. I'm calling to my wolf clan. Our traditional governance has been disrupted, and the leadership structures people rely on today, they are limited, restricted, and unable to respond in the ways our people truly need. So we are left at a crossroads, not helpless, but responsible. Because when our systems fall out of balance, we already know where the strength returns from. It returns through the women. The only way forward is through the women, the ones who carry the responsibility to protect life, the ones who hold the connection to the land, to the children, to the future, to the ones who restore balance when everything else begins to fall apart. This is not about power. This is about responsibility. The safety of our children must come first. The safety of our people must come first. And that means the women must rise, not alone, but as they were always meant to be, supported, respected, and truly listened to. And to the people, this cannot be ignored any longer. We cannot keep living like this. We cannot keep accepting violence in our own homes, on our own land, against our own people. So I am asking, who is ready to stand? Who is ready to stop being silent? Who is ready to stand in truth, to protect the people, and to begin restoring what has been broken? Because this does not change on its own. It changes when we do, and the time is now. When we cannot keep speaking about who we are as a people while only touching the surface. Identity is not a single aspect. It is rooted in the laws we were given and the responsibilities that come with them. If we're going to talk about our roles, then we must also be honest about what those roles require. Our ways were never meant to exist inside a colonial system. They were meant to stand on their own. That means we have to begin separating ourselves in how we think, how we govern, and how we carry ourselves, returning to the laws that were placed here long before any outside system. We cannot ignore the foundation. Our women, our life givers, our connection to the earth. Without upholding them in their rightful place, everything else becomes unbalanced. And we have to be willing to speak about leadership truthfully. Leadership was never meant to be claimed or assigned by convenience. It comes through the clan families, through lines that have carried the responsibility to guide our people for generations. That system was not accidental. It was deliberate. It worked. So we have to ask ourselves hard questions. Not just accept what we've been told, but dig deeper. Where did things shift? Where did we move away from our laws? And who benefits from that disconnection? Because the truth is, correcting our path means confronting uncomfortable realities. It means acknowledging that some of what we've come to accept is not aligned with who we truly are. The truth may hurt, but avoiding it has cost us far more. If we want healing, real healing, then we have to return to truth, to our laws, and to the responsibilities that come with them. And as we speak on these truths, we also need to remember what days like Red Dress Day truly mean. It is not only the women we have lost, though we carry them, we grieve them, and we honor them always. It is also about the women who are still here, the ones doing the work, the ones speaking out, the ones standing up even when it comes at a cost, the ones holding each other up and refusing to stay silent in the face of systems that continue to oppress us at every level. Because the reality is, the conditions that led to our women going missing or being taken have not disappeared. They are still here, and there are women right now living these realities every single day. Red Dress Day must also be a reminder of that. A call to open our eyes, not just to the past, but to the present. To see, to support, and to stand with the women who are still fighting, still resisting, and still carrying the weight of these truths. We can not only honor the lost, we must also protect and uplift the living. And this cannot begin and end with one day. Wearing red, sharing words, gathering for a moment, these things matter, but they are not the work. They are reminders of the work. Because the truth is, this does not stop when the dresses come down. It does not pause until next year. The realities our women face are not seasonal, and neither is the responsibility to stand against what is harming them. This has to become part of how we live every single day, in the choices we make, in what we support, in what we refuse to take part in how we challenge what we know is wrong. We cannot say we honor our women while continuing to uphold the very system that puts them at risk. This is not just a day. This is a responsibility. And this responsibility belongs to us all. And if we are serious about returning to our ways, then we cannot avoid speaking about governance. Our people were never without structure. We were never without leadership. That responsibility has always lived within our clan families, carried, protected, and passed down through generations with purpose. So if we are talking about rebuilding, about healing, about stepping out of colonial systems, then we have to acknowledge those who still hold those responsibilities today, because they are still here. And recognizing them is not about opinion or popularity. It is about understanding our systems the way they were meant to function. That also means we have to be honest about something difficult. Not everything that presents itself as leadership is rooted in our laws. Disconnection has created great confusion, and in that confusion, many have stepped into roles without the foundations, responsibilities, or accountability that our ways require. So the work in front of us is not to blindly follow. It is to learn, to ask questions, to trace things back to their source, to understand who truly carries those responsibilities and why that matters. Because our governance was never random. It was intentional, balanced, and deeply connected to our women, our families, and our laws. And if we want to truly return to self-governance, then that is where we must begin. Nyamo. Second, I'm not coming
Okay, so this is kind of like a second part of her uh presentation. She did put out another post, or I don't know if it was a post now. She stated somewhere in the last few days in social media that she's calling for a law recital. And she's taken the actions, like to put forward to call for a law recital. So everything that she said here in this post, in this statement tonight, or in this statement, she's speaking directly to me in addressing the people. She's speaking directly to me in addressing what she identifies as warriors. She's speaking directly to me when she identifies as Wolf Clan. So this is something directly to me, as it is something directly to all of you, anybody in Ganawagi. And when she's talking about from the position of the life givers, then she's also talking to all of you life givers, regardless of if you're native or non-native or white, black, yellow, brown, no matter what. She's talking to life givers around the world because it is something that is confronting and attacking life givers in all walks of life right now. So whether it's something that's localized within her community, which is Ganasadagi, let's say it's localized. She's talking about a shooting that took place there the other night. So whether it's that is an act of war. So you can extrapolate that to what other women are feeling, like what Radharani, who was with us earlier in the evening, who's from Slovenia, that clearly her oration is that we can see women, life givers around the world, becoming isolated, becoming left with a sense of helplessness, hopelessness. This is chaos upon creation. If the life givers are in a sense of hopelessness, that they feel that they are oppressed, being held down, like caged, keeping in mind that they're life givers, then the process of life giving is going to be compromised. It's going to be strangled. So life giving right now, meaning us just knowing life the way that we do, is under attack because the life givers are under attack. If the life givers are not happy, our human experience is going to be crap. The life givers must be happy. How do the life givers become happy? Well, in the natural world, you don't really have to do anything to make them happy because they're alive, they're in power, they're within their energy. So today, really what it is that we have to do is it's stuff that we have to stop doing. It's not so much what we got to do, it's what we got to stop doing. We got to stop acting like the white man. Everybody, even the white man, has to stop acting like the white man. And so this means right across the board of our planetary species, the males in every species is going through an adjustment, whether you know it or not, because if the life givers are under strain, you are being adjusted. Take, for instance, like if you're in China. Imagine what it's like for the guys there. Well, if you don't know too much about China, you might say, well, what's wrong with them in China? Well, what's wrong with them in China is there's too goddamn many guys and not enough girls. So just imagine what that means. If there's too many guys because of ridiculous policies in the past that honored male boys, male children, it's just like in early Greece. If you had a daughter, they actually threw the daughter away into the pit to die. A baby, threw it away. If it wasn't a male, of course they would save some to reproduce. That's it.
So this means that for thousands of years now, the life givers have been kept. You have not been allowed to live free the way that you want. You have been restricted into being nothing but baby factories to produce nonstop soldiers for the nonstop wars of the white man for thousands of years. I couldn't imagine if it was me, like if we're enslaved, imagine that we had to service the women just to produce new soldiers. Well, for guys, that would probably be heaven for us, you know, but for girls, well, I don't think that's heaven for you. You know, I don't think that that's what's happening, or that not what's happening. I don't think that's what you are experiencing, heaven. No, I know that from what I am hearing, what I am exposed to, what I am seeing, there's no way in hell that the women are going to be happy. There'll be women who are happy because they're billionaires and they're able to fly on their jet to a vacation spot, some nice white sandy beach somewhere. Those women may be in a relative state of happiness. But as women, as life givers, they're not happy. No way in hell. We could all say money cannot buy happiness, but then unless you got all the money in the world, do you think that money isn't buying that person happiness? Of course it is, but it's also buying them all kinds of problems along the way also. But when they got all that money, the problems along the way might be what? Might be you couldn't afford to pay your phone bill. Oh, well, wait a minute. If you're a billionaire, you're rich, then that woman, oh, she'll just toss her phone away and buy another phone. You know, it's like flavor of the day, so to speak. You know, so the overall experience of the life givers is becoming more and more restrained every day. It's becoming more and more regimented into becoming something that you don't even know what it is. You got no clue the path that we are on as a collective of planetary species. What direction are we going as a planetary species? Are we going in a positive of evolution, or are we going devolving? Well, most people cannot even deduce where they're at or what's happening to them collectively. So what I am seeing here is that Lisa is representing something that that has been shut up for a long time. The guys have had their hands covering her mouth. And that's sort of like what you see in this red dress day. You see that this has become a statement of there's a red handprint over the mouth of the women to shut you up, to shut you down. Now, when she speaks to me as a wolf clan, I gotta respond. When she speaks to me as all those other things, I gotta respond. How could anybody not respond? So just think of this. How many guys in Ganawagi, never mind, she's from Ganasadagi, but how many guys in Ganawagi have seen that and are not responding? How many guys are just tuning out as soon as they see a girl talking about something of importance? How many guys just tune right out? All of Ganawagi. I'd say that in as far as like if all of Ganawagi was exposed to Lisa's statement, well, she knows that at least two people have heard it, two guys, that's Curry and myself. And we're taking action on it. The action that the land defenders are doing is already proactive in taking action as to the things that she just suggested, the things that we are doing in connection with the life givers and within the longhouse. Everything that we're doing is in that flow of what she's saying. And so for myself, I wrote to Lisa explaining to her about the law recital that she's calling for, about what she's got to do, that she's got to go to, as soon as anybody hears this from any house, who's the well at the 207? Who's the well at the Mohawk Trail? You know they heard it. You know they're exposed to it. They ain't going to take no action. They ain't even going to address it. You know they're not going to address a damn thing.
we will be the only ones who will address it. So I explained to her how to achieve law recital, that she must go to the well of each house and request it. And when they tell her no, because that's what they're gonna do, they won't take the obvious thing. They won't state the obvious, which would be, okay, we've assessed your request, and in compliance with your request, we'll provide you a law recital on this day, so and so. There ain't gonna be nobody, no one, other than us, who are gonna present that. And so this is what I presented to her, to explain to her that if there's nobody else, if she can't find law recital anywhere, first it should be in her house. Knowing that she's from Ganassadage, it should be coming from the house in Ganassadage, which there is no house in Ganassadage anyways. But it should be coming from there. But if not, I told her that for us, we're having our 5-year law recital next summer, and it's gonna start at the summer solstice. So it's gonna be an early law recital next year. Last time we did it 5 years ago, it was kind of late. It was in August. And yeah, but next summer we're gonna start at the summer solstice. And I told her to get ready, that usually for us, when we do law recital, it usually takes at least 21 days. There's times where it took more, it took 28 days, 26 days. But I told her, you should be prepared to attend all the time. You should not be present for just a couple of days or a couple of hours during the day, you know. But I also did say that it's not required, like we're not gonna whip you and give you a fine for not being there, no. But anyways, we're providing the we're following through, answering her request here of law recital, and identifying that if she cannot get satisfaction anywhere else, that she will be welcome here at the law recital next summer, 2027, so-called 2027, at the beginning at the summer solstice. Okay, so for right now, that's the best that I could do on her statement that she put out. But I did say that I did add to her that if you can't wait that long, which is, it's a long time, next summer, that's over a year. It's about 13 or 14 months. That she should put together any issues or whatever, or questions or assertions about law, and bring that to either the Wednesday or the Saturday night Zooms where we can begin law discussions. Now, I can talk about law anytime, but unless there's somebody presenting an issue, you know, it's like really like a non-discussion for me. Like I know people would just get bored of it and whatever. So it's best if there could be interaction. Okay. So that's what our addressal is of Lisa Gibson's statement that she put out there. Everybody should be responding to it. How could you not respond to it? She's talking to the men. She's talking to the nation. She's talking to the clan. She's talking to the life givers. She's talking to everybody. So how could there not be any responses to this? All I could think of, what in the hell is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you, Ganawagirdonos, Ganassadagirdonos? What is wrong with you? Where you don't even respond. It's somebody sitting right next to you, asking you a question, saying, hey, 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 they're like this, hey, hey, hey. And you're just sitting there, twiddling your thumbs. Nobody's answering. Imagine that. That's the atmosphere that all the life givers around the earth are confronted with. They're crying out to everyone in all directions, and no one is listening. No one. Well, there might be some people listening, but no one's responding. And no response with anything positive, you know, like with any constructive feedback or anything. I can say we're the only ones. So anyways, that's where we'll leave that. It's I'm seeing what do you call that? When a person makes an artwork with a whole bunch of different things, a collage, right?
Mm.
What I'm seeing right now is a collage of the life givers tapestry around the entire earth. It's not acknowledged yet. It's not to that level of critical mass yet where people would will recognize it, acknowledge it, respond to it. But life givers around the world are linking within the same atmosphere, the same frame of mind, which is a result of oppression. So life givers around the world right now, what I'm seeing is that no disrespect to Radharani, but as you seen, if you were with us earlier, you seen Radharani look really tired because it was 3 o'clock in the morning where she was. So it's really tired. She's really tired, but she's also really tired because of all the negative things that she's talking about what exists around her. So I'm seeing that women, let's say, just as an example, you got a girlfriend. You go out with your girlfriend, ask her if she wants to go to the movies tonight. Yeah, okay, maybe you'll go to the movies. Do you want popcorn? Or maybe there's no interaction with her on the popcorn. Maybe when you say something, did you see that? And she doesn't respond to you. It's like the life givers are becoming withdrawn from the males. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. I could understand 100% why life givers are distancing themselves from guys. And I say that of myself also. Because maybe they're not seeing me doing what they know or what they demand needs to be done immediately. Maybe they don't see the slow process that's taking place. So it's just causing a general overall terrible state for life givers. Now, if I am wrong, then of course, any life giver step forward and correct me. Any life giver step forward and say, there's nothing wrong in this world. We all like, the women have it good. I doubt if there's any woman on this planet who would step forward and to represent that. Okay, so it's a collective mess for life givers around the earth right now. Our planetary species, the life giver, is under attack. We got to do something. Guys, you must become men. We got to stand up and do something. If you don't like Lisa Gibson and well, everything that she said, maybe it's all true, but just because you don't like her, you're not going to listen to her. You're not going to take action on what she said. Or maybe you're 100% with her, but still maybe not taking action. Maybe not enough. This is what's happening. Not enough is what's happening. Not enough of the good, too much of the bad. So we need to make a shift. I'll start making good things happen and take the place of the bad things that are happening. Okay, so anyways, I'll leave it at that unless there's anything. I guess I already asked that. I guess there's nothing. Nobody has anything to say, nothing else to put forward. We'll end for tonight. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna end up here. Oh, I mean end off here. As you see, I already ended up here. Okay, getting ready. Got it?
Yeah, when you're gonna start playing, because sometimes you speak.
Okay, I don't know what song I'm gonna do. See what comes up. Well, I'll do this one because we're at this time of year to push away the mosquitoes.